And welcome to episode number 7 of Niederman Describes.
We've
made
done
it
7 of these.
all the way to episode 7.
Yeah, and they haven't kicked
the
us out yet.
holy number.
The holy number?
The holy number?
Yeah, the
Only
number
if you're
7
Christian.
is holy. Yeah.
Not
What?
if you're Jewish.
Oh, what is the holy number if you're Jewish?
8.
8?
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's our next episode. We all get one.
L'chaim!
Praise Jesus. In case you're just jumping in on episode number 7, this show
We
is
apologize.
about me, the facilitator, feeding YouTube clips to Mike, the talent.
And that's Joe Montana with a satisfied shit-eating grin.
Chaz Palminteri.
Chaz Palminteri. Wow, yes. Same person. And he is realizing that Verbal Kent has been bullshitting him the entire time. And he drops the cup because he's realizing that the whole story of The Usual Suspects, Jack,
Yes,
has
even
been
I know
made
that
up.
movie.
And he has really good eyesight to be able to see all these tiny details across the room. A quartet in Skokie, Illinois. We're hearing all these things, little clips,
Brooks
if you really
Marlin.
paid attention. She was fat, orca fat. Some
Redfoot.
guy in California, his name is Redfoot. They like
He was
basically
their
the
fence
fact
in
that
LA.
Verbal Kent, Kevin Spacey, and his career-defining role. And this is the year that Kevin Spacey was in The Usual Suspects and 7.
And 7, yeah.
And he was in another
Was
movie
it
at this
Midnight
time
in the
too.
Garden of Good and Evil? Was that
No,
the
that was
same
later.
year? That was later.
He was already a
This
star by
movie
that
and
point.
7 were the big ones for
Yeah.
him.
And so this was the twist ending. And this is a Bryan Singer film. Bryan Singer, who was famous for skeeving on 16-year-old, 15-year-old boys in Hollywood. He's still making movie, folks, and I've seen all of them.
But in the post-Weinstein era, let's see how long that lasts.
And we're going to go to one of my favorite little moments of,
Giancarlo
a
Esposito.
very young-looking Giancarlo Esposito. Fun fact, he was on Sesame Street for a while. So I love this shot of, maybe he was on the Electric Company.
Morgan Freeman was on the Electric Company.
Yes, he was. He was Easy Reader.
Yeah.
And I love this shot coming up where Kevin Spacey slowly loses the limp that the affectation that he had this entire movie. Right here, he's walking easier. He's going to move his hand around because his hand has been in the palsy, I'm guessing, all afternoon. He loses the limp in the shot. Wonderful piece of subtle physical acting.
I also love the way he stretches his hand out.
Right, he's going to do the hand thing. As
probably
he
cramped up from
smokes
holding
his
it.
cigarette. This is also back in the 90s when people still smoked.
Yeah.
And the car pulls up, and inside is the late Pete Postlethwaite, who was such a great actor.
Mm-hmm. In the Name of the Father, remember? He was
He was in
Daniel
The Name of the
Day-Lewis's
Father.
dad in
He
that.
was dying during Inception. He was the dad in Inception.
Yeah,
He was
yeah.
just dying. But Pete Postlethwaite's character was the lawyer for Kaiser Soze.
Right.
So it makes you wonder what some aspects of the story were real.
Mm-hmm.
What, I don't know. The greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he didn't exist. The writer of this film, oh God, what's the writer?
Christopher Marquet.
Christopher Marquet, who did Way of the Gun, and later became like the number 2 guy in whatever movie studio does all the Tom Cruise movies. He writes a lot of Tom Cruise films, but he's directed a couple of them. I know he directed at least one Mission Impossible, and he's written a couple of them. And the new Mummy, he definitely had his fingers in there. So
I wonder if he had anything to do with... I feel like he wrote Edge of Tomorrow. Why do I...
no, Edge of
One
Tomorrow
of the better Tom Cruise
was
movies of recent
not.
years.
Edge of Tomorrow was the guy that did Swingers and Mr. and Mrs. Smith.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Not Guy Ritchie. Oh God, it's gonna.
Doug Liman?
Doug Liman. Yes. Doug Liman did Edge of Tomorrow.
He directed it, but did he write it?
No, I believe that might have been Christopher McQuarrie.
Why did I show you The Usual Suspects? That will become clearer as this episode continues, but I thought The Usual Suspects, mid-90s, sort of kicked off this trend for a while of the movie with the big twist ending.
Yeah.
Twist. So is
Like
next going to be The Sixth Sense?
We shall see.
That's a
No,
yes.
actually, this is. I considered The Sixth Sense. I thought it was maybe too obvious. But what I really valued about The Usual Suspects was its rewatchability.
Yeah, there's a lot of subtle details there.
Yeah.
And the 90s, I felt also was the boom time of the armchair video clerk film buff. That people would just be in their dorm rooms with their DVD players, just watching movies and loving them and pontificating about them. That's when we came up. And not that people didn't casually love film beforehand, but I feel like its accessibility was just there. You could get the DVD. And so there was a certain kind of bro-y film buff, of which I'm certain I was, that had to be evangelical about these twist films and say, no, there's more to it than you're just seeing. And not just the twist films, but all of these mid-90s movies. Dude, there's so many layers to Pulp Fiction. And there were a lot of layers to Pulp Fiction. But I don't know if there's so many.
Right.
Pulp Fiction doesn't really have a twist, though.
No, it doesn't.
No, but it because of the nonlinear structure, there was a lot to sort of unpack with that movie, and I think another good example of that, which is early 2000s, I think, is Memento.
Yes, that's
which
what I was thinking
trend,
of.
once the special edition DVD came out,
you could watch it forwards.
Yeah, you could watch it in order. And I never actually did that, but apparently you could do that.
I remember when I really loved Memento when it came out, and I remember seeing online just like websites and message boards of people just dissecting the film like minute by minute by minute and describing like it moving backwards and moving forwards and trying to decipher like all the like hidden little things in it. And I don't think you could do that before DVDs, really.
Right. And Jonathan Nolan does that. He's got these
Christopher Nolan.
Jonathan Nolan also does that because Jonathan Nolan is a writer.
He
on
wrote
Memento
the short story.
and on Interstellar. So I was right.
And is the showrunner for Westworld.
Yes,
he is? Oh, I didn't know that.
So he likes puzzle boxes.
Yes, the puzzle box play, Inception.
Right. And I feel that in addition to twists, the 90s gave us puzzle boxes as narratives. And so is the film interesting without the twist? Is the film interesting without the puzzle box? Does the film play on its own? Or do you need this psych aspect of it for it to work?
I think initially the answer was no, you didn't, because I think it likes you. Just let it touch you. Let it smell you.
This is happening. Just let it happen. As soon as you say yes.
I don't have even any alcohol.
The Usual Suspects is entertaining as hell, even without the last 5
agree.
minutes
It's an
of the movie.
immensely quotable film.
Yeah, like every scene is fun on its own.
It's a
the
well
movie
done
is a
film.
great
It is
is
a
a great
film.
roller coaster ride of a movie.
Inception, on the
The
other
Sixth
hand.
Sense is also a really solid, sort of supernatural thriller without the last 5 minutes. I remember the first time I saw that movie, I didn't know what the twist was, and I was still completely drawn in.
I didn't even know that there was going to be a twist.
I didn't either.
Right.
I knew it was about a kid who saw dead people, but
saw
that's
dead
it.
people.
I didn't know that,
Bruce Willis is dead?
Wow, Jack's seen a movie.
Spoilers, Jack. Shut
Oh,
my
they
God.
haven't seen it by now.
Who's
Now
they?
we're gonna
No,
have
And
to put
I've
a
even
disclaimer.
seen
No
it.
one's
Who's
watching.
they? No one's watching this. So what are we watching now, Dan?
Great. So let's move on.
Okay.
Put your ears in. Put your ears in, and make sure it's not too loud. You know how to work the thingy. Sorry, I'm deaf, so I have to have these loud.
And I'm not watching it. Okay, good.
You probably know what this is.
Oh, okay. So this is part of. Is this the end of Mulholland Drive? And I remember watching Mulholland Drive with my friends who are not in New York City anymore. And I don't know everything about every single David Lynch film. I still haven't seen Eraserhead, and I haven't gone through all of the Twin Peaks just because. But I remember watching Mulholland Drive, really feeling like I got it. Like I understood everything, the intricacies of the narrative, of what it all meant. And at this point in the movie, Naomi Watts' character is, she's no longer an ingenue actress. She's now a lesbian, but she's lost her lesbian lover. We don't know why. I forget if she disappeared because of magic or disappeared because they just broke up. But like this whole, and if the devil was part of it, because the devil was an aspect of this. And fun fact, Mulholland Drive was supposed to be David Lynch's follow-up to Twin Peaks, but ABC rejected
I knew that.
it, and he turned the pilot into a movie.
Yeah.
And So now, like, two old people from the very beginning of the movie, and the beginning of the movie really plays like a horror movie. The tension and the jump scares, they're back.
I almost showed you the scene in the diner.
Oh, the
with
scene in the diner.
The guy that comes out. I love that scene so much.
That
oh my
scene,
God.
that scene in the diner, that guy, I don't know his name, but he's always an asshole in every single television show he is. He was in Mad Men as like the comic. That was his big role. But like tiny old people are chasing after them,
and now they're full size.
Now they're full size, but they feel like they feel friendly. I mean, they're smiling, but they're not after her. They're just like waving hello, the way old people do. And what does this mean? Like, literally, what does this mean? Like Naomi Watts is being chased by old people, and she grabs the gun and she kills herself, destroying her nightmare.
Ooh.
And now smoke is billowing into this room. And this is a room, I don't know if this is the same room the entire movie, like, because I know that she goes into the sort of
goes
hotel.
back into the same apartment.
Same apartment.
That was in her dream, which is
Right.
the first half of the movie.
Right.
Supposedly.
Or is the first half her dream? Is this like all like the occurrence at Owl Creek Bridge, where the entire film is just the dream before she dies?
Yeah.
Have you ever read or seen Oh, you gotta read Occurrence at the Owl Creek Bridge. It's such a great little short story, and they made a short film of it that won one of the awards in Cannes in like 1960. And then here she is again with her lover. I don't know who the actress is, but the lover's in a blonde wig, and she is smiling, and she is happy, and is this one of the last moments of true happiness? I don't know. Shit's weird, Joe. So,
Yeah.
we're talking about weirdo endings. I don't think Mulholland Drive is a twist.
No, it's not. In fact, I think it's very different from the puzzle box films in that the puzzle box films work on logic.
This works
and
on
Mulholland
dream
Drive,
logic.
yeah,
Dream logic.
it's not intellectual, it's emotional.
The first time I saw Mulholland Drive, and this is I think this is a movie that really sort of demonstrated like your experience with it can really be shaped by who you see it with.
Yeah.
I saw it was like opening weekend when it came out. It was kind of like a big deal. I lived in LA at the time, and like, so I was really kind of into being in LA, and it was a big deal when this movie premiered. And I went with a friend of mine who hated it, who was like sighing and rolling her eyes.
I hate that
and
shit.
being just like really, really resistant to the movie the whole time. And I liked, like, I was into David Lynch. I was like, I loved Blue Velvet. I hadn't seen Twin Peaks, but I had seen I had seen Eraserhead by that point. So I was like, I knew what I was getting myself into. I knew.
You knew there would be midgets.
Midgets talking backwards. The correct term is little people. You
Sorry.
Jew. Can I just say that I really hate it when you see a work with somebody who, not that they don't get it, but they're actively resisting trying to find a way in.
Yeah.
Because that's some middle school shit right there.
Mm-hmm. And this is a person who I still know and love. And if they ever watch it, they'll know who they are. I'm not naming names. But then, not long after that, I watched it on DVD with another friend of mine who was really obsessed with it and was like super, super into that, into the movie. And the experience was, obviously so much better watching it with an aficionado. It wants to smell you.
I have wonderful cologne on.
And like this was his favorite movie. This is also someone who passed away recently, like a very dear friend of mine who died last year. And so whenever I haven't watched it since then, though I want to. I kind of want to I haven't seen the movie without either of those people.
But you've seen the movie twice.
I've seen the movie twice.
Okay.
Yeah. And I want to see it a third time because
I'll watch it
both
with
times
you, Dan.
I was loving it despite the resistance of my friend the first time and because of the love for the movie of my friend the second time. So I have a weird relationship with Mulholland Drive because I think it is a brilliant, brilliant movie. I don't get all of it. I don't want to get all of it. That's what I like about David Lynch movies is there's no way to get all of it.
A lot of it works on a dream logic. A lot of it
That
works.
same friend when he visited New York we saw the premiere of Inland Empire at the
Which I
Giant
haven't
Film Festival, which was also terrific.
I have never seen that one.
Sort of underrated. That was David Lynch's last movie. That was his.
Was
No.
his last one?
He also did The Straight Story.
That was before Inland Empire.
Yeah, Dan's right. It was before.
He hasn't made a feature film since Inland Empire. I think he's been working on the new Twin Peaks series. all
Yeah,
that time.
and he's done some acting as
Yeah,
well.
and he's not that prolific. Like David Lynch takes a long time between movies. anyway,
David
so-
Lynch is in the new last Harry Dean Stanton film.
Was it John Hurt? Was both Harry Dean Stanton and John Hurt in
Yes.
Alien? They were both in it.
They were both in
but
it.
Harry Dean Stanton was the first one to die, right?
No, John Hurt literally was the first person to die, and then it was Harry Dean Stanton.
John Hurt had the alien come out of him at dinner.
Right.
And then Harry Dean Stanton went off
was
and
in-
drip, 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 drip.
Right.
Yeah.
It was John Hurt, Harry Dean Stanton,
Yaphet
Kotto,
Kotto,
Tom Skerritt, Sigourney Weaver,
Siggy.
Ian Holm.
Ian
Ian
Holm.
Holm, I remember.
Ian
I
Holm
remember
was
him
the
being in that.
original android.
Spoilers! Twist! Give me the next clip.
Okay. Oh, you can already see what it's going to be.
I can't see what it's going to be.
Oh, you can't?
No.
Good.
My eyes are failing
Don't
me.
look. Here we go.
Dark City.
Yeah.
Requiem for a Dream stole this shot.
Totally stole
Totally stole this shot.
Complete rip-off.
Rufus Sewell, whatever happened to him?
No,
He's such a weirdo-looking leading. This is only a leading man role. Ever since then, he just did was villains. And who is this? This is not
Jennifer Connelly.
Jennifer Connelly. Oh, so not only did Requiem for a Dream steal the shot, they stole the shot with the
Stole the
exact same
actress.
actress.
Yeah.
Also in this movie, besides Kiefer Sutherland when he was not drinking or on cocaine, Riff Raff is in this movie.
Is he?
Yes.
I don't remember that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Riff Raff is Richard
Richard
O'Brien
O'Brien.
is the other guy. It's Rufus Sewell, Jennifer Connelly.
William Hurt's in this too.
William Hurt's in there, but he's a doctor who doesn't
So
exist.
tell us what are we seeing here?
So Dark City, there are these weird people that go into the world at night while you sleep and change everything. Cause? There's no real reason why they do this. They just do it to fuck with everybody and see what happens. What happens?
They get some sort of energy or something.
I
Like,
think
there's
they
some
just
sort
want
of-
to test it. And so this is a place that they have built. And so at the end of the movie, they've destroyed everything. This guy's destroyed the world in order to save the world or something, and it's confusing.
But they're in a big.
They're in a big beach.
They're in a big spaceship. It's a giant.
No,
they're
it's not
floating in
space. They're
space.
floating in space, but I kind of feel like it's like that episode of Doctor Who where they're on top of a alligator or a whale. They're on a
Right.
spacecraft. They're traveling the cosmos.
Yeah. But it's large and it's a complete self-sustaining
It's a
environment.
complete fabrication. But this wasn't really a twist ending or even a puzzle box. It was just there's a lot of weird shit on the screen.
Here's what was frustrating about Dark City to me, and I really wanted to like this movie, and there's actually a lot I like about it. I think it's a really great sort of visual universe that's created.
But it
However,
didn't make any internal sense.
it showed its hand way too early in the film.
End of Act 1.
Instantly.
Yeah.
Almost within the first 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We were this guy wakes up, he doesn't know where he is, he doesn't know why he's there. And it's always nighttime and strange people are following him. But almost immediately we get a scene. A strange person is following me. He's coming from behind the plant. We get to see the creepy alien critters all talking about what they're doing and why.
Hello,
and
Mr.
it was
Thing.
really frustrating
Where's
to
you
me.
gonna
It's
do this? Us, Mr. Thing with the hat. I'm the Mr. Weird guy.
Yeah.
One of them's really tall. Another one's a child. One of them's doing the time warp.
But there was no mystery.
But there's
in
no
the
reason
movie.
why. And then you have Kiefer Sutherland, who's doing this weird sort of Doctor Strangelove, limping, Nosferatu, Max
Yeah,
Shrek
yeah.
vibe. And Christopher Hurt is just there. No one really knows what kind of character they're playing or why, or even if it's camp.
There's a theme here, and the theme may not be completely obvious, but it is.
Noble failure movies of the 90s?
I have.
It was all a dream.
I've dubbed the title of this episode "Everything You Know Is Wrong."
Yeah.
Oh, so we're going to see Vanilla Sky
these
next.
are different. Oh, I didn't even
That
think
falls
of
into that
that.
category.
That is an underrated film. I think
know
that
what?
movie is better than people give it credit
I
for.
personally love those kinds of films. The one that I always think of the most is really obscure. You guys, I might have seen it. Is Spanish Prisoner.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
I feel like that falls
David
into that
Mamet.
category too.
David
Sure.
Mamet,
Like
back when he was still
everything
making
that you
watchable
saw on
films.
screen up until now was
Right.
created. It wasn't real.
Well, it's not like everything that you know is a con. That's what that movie was.
Right.
Right.
So in The Usual Suspects, like Chaz Palminteri thinks he's got this guy. He thinks he's totally in control this whole time, and really,
Joe
he's
Mantegna.
just. And Dan Hedaya, that's his partner. in the
Dan
film.
Hedaya.
Oh, God,
Good
yeah.
old Dan
Carla's
Hedaya.
husband. Oh, fun fact. I saw Chaz Palminteri do A Bronx Tale solo, the original run,
Oh.
off Broadway in the 80s.
No, that was Joe Mantegna.
Yes, I was a child.
How was it?
It was amazing.
Yeah.
It was just him telling the story, and then he would say, and then my father gave me a hug, and he would hug, and I saw it with my dad, and it's a story about sons and their fathers, and so
And now it's a musical.
no, and apparently it's not very good.
Surprise, surprise. In Mulholland Drive, she wakes up halfway through the movie, and nothing is as it was, but everything's tying together, and it's oh so confusing. And in Dark City, of course, right away we find out that things are not what they seem, that he's really on a big alien spaceship, and they're trying to steal his mojo or whatever.
Or whatever.
This is hot. I hope we're getting a close-up of this. I really, I need a screenshot of this. That is going right into my spank bag. Holy moly.
Next clip.
And this ties into, there is no next clip. We're
There's
going
no
to
next
talk now.
clip.
No, I'm sorry.
Okay.
What inspired me in this, and this is, something we were talking about, was it last episode about Leonard Cohen dying
Yes.
the day after 11/9?
We shot that last week.
Yeah, we only have
We shot
one
that
outfit each.
less than an hour ago. Is the feeling. I had the Chaz Palminteri, Naomi Watts, Rufus Sewell feeling the day after
Oh,
the
it's
election.
interesting.
So basically,
Wow.
America was a dream, and we're in reality now.
What I thought was true is in terms of where we were heading.
Yeah.
In terms of where people wanted us to be, where America wanted
There was
to
a
be
thought
headed.
that good work would happen.
I was so convinced, as I think a lot of us were.
There's Barack Obama was fond of saying that the arc of the universe bends towards justice.
I don't think he's the first person who said that.
No, but he was fond of saying that.
He said that the next day, that history zigs and zags. It doesn't move in a straight line.
But I don't know if I believe that anymore. I mean, heck, Donald Trump joked about hanging gay people today.
Did he? I missed
Yeah,
that.
he did.
Yeah.
Well, no, he joked about Mike Pence hanging gay people, actually. But
It's good that I'm in charge,
What
because
did
this
he
guy
say?
wants to hang the gays.
Yeah, something along those lines.
Really, he said that?
Yeah.
He said that. I don't know if he said that today, but it
Does
was
anything
reported today.
surprise
And
us
this is
anymore?
I think, eventually, Naomi Watts
And
doesn't become comfortable, but she's
not comfortable.
The reality
She's-
sinks
she
in.
kills
Yeah,
herself.
I mean, she ends up killing herself.
What are you trying to do? You're
knows what
depressing
to-
me tonight, Dan.
I know. What am I doing? I think this is where my head is at these days. I can't.
Yeah, it's really depressing
can't-
right now, isn't it?
Well, okay. Let's take it in a positive direction. Where can we go positively from what we've just watched? Because I
Okay.
don't know. I need to unpack. I mean, right now, American Horror Story in
I can't
one of the
watch that show.
better seasons.
I
that
cannot
it's had
watch
like
that
that
show, and I
show.
cannot watch it right now. But
uses its launching point as
Trump.
the election to show
But
how.
I'm
occult
going to
conform
go
and all the
to
horror
back
that
in the
it-
90s and another work of art that used the same thesis that it was all a dream more than once.
Mhm.
Buffy the Vampire Slayer and the spin-off Angel.
Oh, okay.
And I was a evangelical fan of Buffy. I love Buffy. I love to talk about Buffy. This is back before Joss Whedon was revealed to be a sexual harasser who would use his power at the WB or the UPN to harass the young actresses. And in retrospect, it was all clear. All his femininity was always really hot femininity, and girls in short skirts, and these sort of like sexy virgins, because that's what a lot of these characters were. Like, these were hot chicks who are like, "What is this sex of which you speak? I don't know what this. Teach me how to sex." And
That was my last date, actually.
yes. So Buffy the Vampire Slayer is Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and she's got to kill vampires, and she falls in love with Angel, who's a vampire with a soul, and he's a vampire with a soul because he killed an entire gypsy caravan in the 1900s, and so they cursed him with a soul. Now he knows the value of all the evils that he's done, and he's good now, and kind of goth and kind of like depressing. But that's the joke. And so he gets a spin-off. He goes to L.A. He's a private investigator. This is the plot. And so, because this is like a mystical show, there's always like prophecies. Here's the book. In the book, you have to do the thing. What does it mean? Let's try to translate it. Oh, it means something else. There's another episode. So he goes and gets the prophecy. And this is the prophecy that has been sort of like the driving MacGuffin for 2 seasons of the spin-off, Angel. And he finds out that the prophecy doesn't, it's not that it's not true, it's that it doesn't matter. And it's not that if it comes true, hell will come to earth. That's not what will happen. That's what they think is going to happen. Because they take him to hell. Fine, you want to see hell? Let's go to hell. They go to hell. And it's Los Angeles.
Whoa.
The idea is that we're... No,
Are you surprised by that?
Well, like he was. And so the idea is that hell is here. This is hell. This existence, this everyday fight for what? For what? It doesn't work. You lose. At the end of it, you lose. That's hell. And so he has this existential crisis for 4 episodes where he kills a bunch of evil people. I mean, he's not supposed to kill. And he kind of doesn't go bad, but he goes nasty. And then he comes out of the existential crisis. And someone says, I realized nothing we do matters. And that's sort of what's happening now.
I'm going to cut you off there because we have 30 seconds left and I need to do a wrap up.
Well, then I need to finish this.
Great.
If nothing we do matters, then all that matters is what we do. And that's how we go forward. This is the Jewish belief. Because this is the next episode, the 8th episode, which is the Jewish episode, that there is no heaven, not like a Christian idea of heaven, of milk and cookies, and an afterlife, and there is no Jewish understanding of heaven. All that matters is the work you do on earth. So if we're in the bad timeline right now, to quote Community, another It's All a Dream puzzle box kind of series, then just do the fucking best you can. And know that the bastards are going to get you down occasionally, and that Harvey Weinstein's going to be raping, and Trump's going to raping, and Ben Affleck is going to be raping. He probably did at one point.
Flip, don't cut us off yet.
And all we can do is just get up the next day and do the best work that you can in the choice that you're making, and love each other as best as we can, and love your friends, and love your family, and get laid if you can still get it up, Jack. And just don't stop. And if corporations,
Unless she says no.
right, and if corporations take over the street corner, then perform outside. And if everywhere is a McDonald's, then tear up the seats and be that resistance in so many areas of your life. You were making fun of me earlier this night because you were saying, Mike, if there's a rule, you're going to say, I'm going to do the thing. All that we have now are rules. Do the fucking thing.
You know what? We are going to do the fucking thing next episode. Because next episode, for our 8th episode, we are going to see the debut of Carp Describes.
Oh, no.
And we're out.